he ranks first among the top 5 league centre-backs for most defensive duels won and most possessions won in the top 5 leagues.
In his last 3 games, he's won 10 out of 10 defensive duels for a 17-year-old in Serie A. I mean, that's just insane.
Honest Ahanor is a future champion, 17 years old, starting in Serie A, Champions League minutes, valued at over 20 million euros, and already being called a future champion. This is Honest Ahanor, born in Campania, raised in Genoa, developed by Atalanta, and right now he might just be the most exciting teenage defender in Europe. So today on the Italian Football Podcast, we're telling the story of a player who isn't even eligible for Italy yet, but might define their future backline. This is the rise of Honest Ahanor.
So who is Honest Ahanor? Well, he's 17 years old. He's 6 feet tall. He's left-footed ball-playing defender. He can play as a left centre-back in a back 3. He can play as a left-back in a back 4 in the middle. But he can also play as a wing-back when needed. He plays for Atalanta, one of the best in Europe, if not the world, at developing clubs. I think you quite correctly call them, pound for pound, the best-run club in the world. And I think that's spot on. And from a statistical point of view, he's already elite. I mean, just look at some of these numbers. 77% defensive duel success, 6.7 defensive duels per 90 minutes, 5.27 interceptions won per 90, 9.1 ball recoveries per 90 minutes, and he's in the top 1% in duels won and high-intensity sprints. And in his last 3 games, he's won 10 out of 10 defensive duels for a 17-year-old in Serie A. I mean, that's just insane.
It is insane. Honest Ahanor was born in Aversa. That's where my family in Italy live. Raised in Genoa, where he joined the club at 5 years old. By 2024, he was already being described as Genoa's best academy talent since Pietro Pellegrini. He's played across the under-17s, under-18s, under-19s, and then he helped win the youth title, the Italian youth title for Genoa. And then came his senior breakthrough. In October 2024, he became the first player born in 2008 to play in Serie A. He made his debut against Juventus. But a few weeks later, disaster struck. He got a serious knee injury. He was out for 5 months. And obviously there were concerns over what would happen next. But when he returned in April 2025, he went straight back into the first team for Genoa. And that is when Atalanta moved.
And they did move by paying 16 million plus add-ons for a player with just 6 senior appearances and a serious knee injury. Clubs like Milan, Roma, Monaco, Chelsea, they all wanted him, but Ahanor chose the development over the hype, to return back to a question we just had about young players making bad choices. But within weeks, he was starting all Serie A matches. He was playing in the Champions League and even scored his first senior goal, which ironically came against Genoa, his childhood club, the club that raised him. And Raffaele Palladino branded him a future champion.
Yeah, a future champion. So why is Ahanor so special? Well, first and foremost, he's a defender, but he's a defender that reads the game like a veteran. He defends the channels, he anticipates passing lanes, and he steps into midfield when needed, like all great modern defenders do. He's very press resistant, he's composed, he's strong on the ball, and in Palladino's 3-4-2-1 system for Atalanta, he plays as a left centre-back with license to carry the ball forward. In a back 4, he becomes a defensive left-back, which is ideal for teams who want, security before flair. And this is absolutely incredible. He ranks first among the top 5 league centre-backs for most defensive duels won and most possessions won in the top 5 leagues. And he's 17.
It's mad the numbers he's doing, but he's not perfect, and we want to balance this by talking about some things that he must improve. And because again, he's only 17, he can improve aerially. He's only won 35% of aerial challenges. His passing needs to be a bit bolder, and he has to learn when to push forward and step forward and when to hold. Basically, he needs to improve his read of the game and situations. But these are things that you can coach with experience. But his ceiling is world class.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Because if we look at the bigger picture, I mean, he's already valued at 17 by Transfermarkt which, take a pinch of salt, they're not, super accurate, but it's a good kind of guide. Compared to other players, and Transfermarkt already value him at 20 million euros, which makes him the most valuable under 17 player in world football. He's ranked Europe's second highest rated under 18 player by Who Scored. But there is more. Incredible. This is Italy, of course. Because of Italian law, he cannot represent Italy until he turns 18. Despite growing up there his whole life. It was a similar situation for Mario Balotelli back in the day. So Nigeria is watching, but Italy are desperate and determined to call him up. Gattuso wants to actually call him up for the World Cup playoffs in March, by which time I believe he will have turned 18. So a decision is kind of imminent there, but I think everybody expects him to choose Italy.
Yeah, we do. And just finally, some people compare him to Destiny Udogie, but a better comparison perhaps would be David Alaba. He's very versatile, he's intelligent, he's technically gifted, he can play left back, centre back, or wing back. And his idol is Paolo Maldini. And similarly to his idol, he does everything with a calm and maturity at a very young age. So remember the name, Honest Ahanor. The future is already here. Please do remember to send in your questions if you're a patron or a YouTube member on via DMs, and patreon.com/TIFP399 a month if you want to go on Patreon. If you want to be a YouTube member, go to youtube.com/@ItaFootPod. Everybody else will be back next week on Monday for a full review show of the weekend, and it's Champions League next week, so we'll be doing post-match reactions after both nights of Italian teams playing, and of course we'll have the Q&A again on Thursday. So please do remember to send in your questions by then. So until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.